Hello everyone, today is 3rd of October, now it's 9:30 in the morning Moscow time. I'm Ugledar and this is my first update for the day in which I will share all the main news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. And there are quite a few very significant developments and news that I like to share with you for this moment. And I will start with the TASS news agency's report that Russian armed forces almost finished clearing operation in Ugledar city, which is in South Donetsk sector of the front line, of course. As you can see, dear friends, on the map, city basically is seems like under full Russian control. For many, it may come as this news may come as a surprise because there was no reports about uh, significant number of Kiev region's forces surrendering in this town or they managed to break out. But yesterday afternoon, reports were start uh, coming in that as a result of this offensive of the Russian armed forces inside the city, Kiev regime troops suffered immense losses. So I guess opportunity was given to Kiev regime's troops to lay down arms and surrender in safe manner. Majority probably decided not to take this opportunity, this chance to save their lives. They continue fight, and as a result, they were neutralized. Most likely, this is the outcome of that battle for Ugledar. So clearing operation is almost finished. Probably, if not today, tomorrow or day after, Russian Defense Ministry will report about full Russian control over the city and liberation of this town. RIA Novosti is also reporting that Russian armed forces established control over the Verkhnikamansk in DPR. This is Siversk direction, dear friends. I know a number of channels yesterday already reported about this significant progress of the Russian armed forces. So this is Verkhnikamansk settlement. And as you can see, dear friends, from Verkhnikamansk to Siversk itself, it's only fields basically, and there are few strongholds in between that Kiev regime forces have. I guess at this point we can really start talk about Siversk sectoral scale offensive operations in Siversk direction. Although, of course, some military experts are predicting that battle for Siversk will last for at least couple of months and most likely will end before end of this year. But if we take into account how rapid Russian advances were in Ugledar direction, for example, then no one should be surprised if in a couple of weeks' time Siversk will also become Siversk and entire this area, by the way, around Siversk will become under full Russian control. So significant progress of the Russian armed forces, and well, one may argue that Kiev regime's forces are basically collapsing on many sectors of the front line. Maybe this is the beginning of the end. We are observing now beginning of the end of Kiev regime's armed forces, as I predicted many times before, and there are maybe some domino effect will take place now. I don't know. I cannot be sure about it, but it is definitely a possibility. Also, Ugledar newspaper is reporting that, according to Foreign Minister of Hungary, Peter Szijjártó, his country is blocking once again attempts of the Brussels or EU bureaucracy, extremely anti-Russian Russophobic bureaucracy, to legalize or to push narrative of sending instructors from the European armies to support Kiev regime. Well, good move on part of Hungary, obviously, and I guess Slovakian leadership is also against direct confrontation between Russia and NATO, and they are also opposing NATO instructors to send their into the battlefield. But I guess if Western ruling class wants NATO instructors or NATO troops to participate in these battles directly, then they will do it, or they will manage to send their troops into Ukraine anyways. But at this point, Budapest once again angers Western ruling class with its principal position, which is that they are in support of peaceful resolution of this crisis and don't want to see any further escalation. And of course, no matter how many instructors or what kind of weapons or what volume of money Western ruling class will direct towards Kiev regime or towards further prolongation of this proxy war against Russia, final outcome is already known for us, for our community, for many people worldwide, which is that Russian Federation already is victorious over the Western ruling class. So only formalization is left. That's all. Also, dear friends, of course, Middle East is in headlines for all their negative reasons for quite a while now. And for example, TASS news agency is reporting that Israel during nighttime conducted 20 strikes on Beirut and many more towards different areas of Lebanon. And main focus was, of course, on southern Lebanon that is bordering with Israel. And according to also TASS news agency, Israeli Defense Force first time reported about casualties, about losses of its military personnel since the beginning of their invasion of Lebanon. And according to IDF, eight, uh, eight military personnel of the IDF was killed as a result of battles with the Hezbollah fighters. It is mainly Hezbollah fighters because Lebanese army, it's only formally Lebanese army. I cannot even remember when last time this so-called army of Lebanon even tried to protect the country. It's just it never happened really. So it is strange that this so-called military formation called the Lebanese army. TASS news agency is also reporting that Hezbollah reported about destruction of three Israeli Merkava tanks in southern Lebanon. And when I see this news, I remember 2006 confrontation between Israel and Hezbollah, which did not go uh, in a way that Israeli leadership was hoping for. That war basically against Hezbollah was lost by Israel, according to many experts. And it is highly likely that this time around there will be no any different results. Israel has obviously superiority in air, superiority in artillery, in armored vehicles, and so on. But when it comes to battle battles on the ground, then our picture is changing, and I will argue personally that Hezbollah has much more professional and capable fighters that IDF does. All this myth about IDF that it's unbeatable force and that kind of stuff. All this myth is has disappeared now. By the way, in 2006, when Hezbollah basically defeated IDF, and also just take a look at the last year. Since the October, IDF leveled Gaza, literally leveled the entire Gaza Strip, and still did not manage to defeat Hamas. And if they are unable to defeat Hamas, how are they going to defeat Hezbollah? They have no chance on that. Only way, only way they can hope for success in this war against Hezbollah is if US, UK, France, and other NATO member states will directly participate in this military operations against Hezbollah and will send their not just air force for support, but also ground troops. It might happen. It might happen, but at least for now, there are no reports that our NATO troops are preparing for ground operations in Lebanon. Things might change, obviously, but At least this is the picture that we have right now. Kommersant newspaper is reporting that US and Israel are discussing combined military operations against allies of Iran in Yemen and Syria. So probably in upcoming days there will be some air strikes, missile strikes on paramilitary groups that are operating in Syria and Yemen. They are probably ready for such a possibility. US, Israel, they regularly conduct some strikes against them, but they did not really manage to achieve much with these strikes. I remind you, dear friends, that US and UK are conducting military operation against the Yemeni Houthis for how long now? Many months, isn't it? What they achieve? Not much, really. In military terms, what they really did is destroy already decimated infrastructure of Yemen. And I mean, if that is their achievement for Washington and London, then, well, also announced is a report that Israel declared persona non grata head of UN, Anthony Gutierrez, which is quite an unprecedented move on a world stage, I will say. Uh, So, Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz declared UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres persona non grata and banned him from entering the country. The press service of the Israel Foreign Ministry reported that this decision was made in light of Guterres' reaction on Iran's heinous attack on Israel. The statement said so. Okay, Israel is banning head of UN. You know my take on Gutierrez. I don't think this person is can be seen as a true leader anywhere. Anywhere, one of the weakest secretary generals of UN, obviously, but still, maybe this is a step too far in terms of diplomacy when country is banning head of UN. I don't know. I don't know. But at this point, Israeli government did so many inadequate actions. They conducted so many inadequate steps that nothing should surprise us no more. TASS news agency is also reporting that France is sending two of its military warships towards coast of Lebanon, and formally reason is to participate in evacuation of the French citizens if necessary. But who knows? Who knows? In reality, it is quite possible that these warships being sent towards Lebanon to then participate again in military operations against Hezbollah alongside their Israeli forces. And if France will participate, then obviously UK and US will do the same. And probably in that case, agreement on that probably already are in place. Because you remember what I was saying in previous update, isn't it? There is no way Netanyahu's government will dare to start full-scale war against Hezbollah without having guarantees from their Western ruling class that US, UK, France, maybe a number of other NATO member states will support them militarily, not just from with their deliveries of the weapon system, ammunition, but also with their direct participation of the militaries of these countries in their battles against Hezbollah and possibly even against Iran if situation between Iran and Israel will continue to escalate, which is unfortunately also a possibility. TASS news agency is reporting that German Chancellor Olaf Scholz stated that he wants to continue his political career as a Chancellor of Germany after federal elections in 2025. So he has some ambitions, isn't it? Or maybe I should say not necessarily Scholz, but whoever is in charge, whoever is a curator of the Scholz in CIA, that person has ambitions, and he wants his puppet to stay in power in Germany for another number of years. Okay, if German people is okay with this situation, then okay, who cares really? Outside of Germany, it's first of all German people's business. If they want the CIA's puppet to be the chancellor for another term, Zgled newspaper is reporting that AB or ABBYY, whatever the name of that company is, there is a Western company, by the way, IT company that fired all all of its employees with Russian citizenship, um, which is quite something. And this was done because of the policies of the company. So AB or eBay or whatever that is, given official comment on their dismissal of the employees, explaining Russian employees, by the way, all of them, explaining the decision with their plans for their transformation and modernization of business processes. The representative of their IT company in their statement noted that eBay, AB, what that company entered their way of transformation and their modernization of business transfers RBC reports RBK news agency. According to agency, their process affected key operational functions such as finance, account market, entry strategies, as well as research and development. According to one of the sources of the publication, among the reasons for layoffs, the company pointed out employees the need to comply with certain rules and security. Some were also told that their work could have been better, while others were told that the company cannot work with Russian colleagues according to its policies. So many Russian IT specialists, their friends, when Western ruling class started these sanction wars, they flee Russia. Many, I mean, we are talking about thousands of Russian IT specialists that were working in Russia for these foreign companies. They left Russia. They were thinking that their career gonna be safer outside of country. But now they are basically treated in the West almost the same way as a class is treating Russia, right? So they will find out hard way. Many people, by the way, were delusional. They were thinking that Western ruling class has no issue with Russia, with Russian citizens. They have issue only with the Russian government. Okay, I wonder if they think same way now. And here in Russia, by the way, many people, including myself, when we were saying or writing that Western ruling class is waging war against Russia, they don't care about government. They don't want Russia to exist at all. They are in war against all of us. When I was saying this, when many other people were saying this, I mean, those people, those individuals that were kind of pro-Western and had some idealistic view of their collective Western, they were disagree. They flee Russia and they are now learning hard way how wrong they were. I mean, this is life, man. This is life, and I'm a bit surprised that these highly intellectual individuals, by the way, were that misled by Western propaganda that they were thinking that they're gonna be treated decently in in the collective West countries. Come on, man. Come on, be realistic though. But it is what it is. It is what it is. So my advice to all the citizens of Russian Federation: if you are living in a collective West countries, just flee from there. Come back to Russia or go to any other country where people are treated equally. Because in the West, Russians not being treated as in many cases, not even as a humans. So if you don't want to experience some negativity of that sort of, just leave the West. You know, many Western citizens are fleeing Western countries because they fed up with the craziness of their so-called elites and all their crazy narratives that they are pushing over the societies. And when this is happening, and there is a huge wave of migration, right, from the Western countries towards the other countries in this world that are still welcoming normalcy, traditional values, family values, and all everything that basically makes us as humans. For whatever reason, some citizens of Russian Federation went to West exactly this time, and they've been treated like you know. So they will find out, and they already are finding out hard way what Western ruling class really is and what they think about uh, all the citizens of Russia. They are enemies of humanity, by the way. They are not just our enemies, Western ruling elites and Western ruling class. They are enemies and existential threat for whole of humanity, no matter where you live, in Russia, in China, in India, in Brazil, in for God's sake, no matter where you live, Western ruling class is your enemy and the existential threat. Few more news, dear friends. RT is reporting that Russian court freezes assets of JP Morgan. Okay. The Moscow region arbitration court on Wednesday ordered the freeze of funds belonging to US banking majors JP Morgan Chase and Bank of New York Mellon. The measure reportedly affects nearly 93.5 billion rubles or 1 billion US dollars, according to current exchange rate, held by their institutions and their subsidiaries in the country. The interim measure has been taken under the case filed with the court by Russia's prosecutor general late last month. Excuse me. The filing is the latest in a string of cases revolving around the liquidation of the International Reserve Bank, a subsidiary of the Russian major Sberbank, by the Ukrainian authorities in early 2022. At the time of its liquidation, Emir Bank, this subsidiary of the Russian Sber, held nearly 372 million US dollars at their two US banks, including some 250 million with their Bank of New York and their 121 million in with their JP Morgan. The funds ended up out of reach of Sberbank and its main shareholders. The Russian government, due to their action of the Ukrainian authorities and their financial restrictions introduced by the US, their prosecution argued. So basically, Russian side from Russian side was stolen this money in Ukraine, and this money was on accounts of in banks of J.P. Morgan and New York, and well, lawsuit was filed for compensation, and as a result, Russian court freezed their assets of on similar volume of money, assets of J.P. Morgan in Russia, and also this another bank. New York, Bank of New York, or whatever that is. So, okay, Russian side was very clear. that whenever collective West countries, or with the participation of the collective West countries, Russian assets will be stolen, then well, Russia will retaliate on that, and uh, and Russia will retaliate on that. And this information is only confirms this, right? So if West wants to continue on this path, okay, okay, there are some. Many people think that it's only Russian assets were only in the West. There are Western assets in Russia also, and these Western assets are about 300 billion, if not more, worth in US dollars. So Moscow has some tools how to respond on the craziness of the Western ruling elites and their puppets, no matter where they are, in Kiev or somewhere else. So yes, JP Morgan Chase and Bank of New York will lose some money. Okay, okay, I have no issue with that. Interfax is reporting that, well, second biggest explosion, second in the row biggest explosion has happened on the sun in last 7 days, 7 years, sorry. In last 7 years, second biggest explosion has happened, and its level is X7.1, which probably means something extraordinary. And I'm sharing this information, dear friends, because weather sensitive members of our community may feel some pressure and stuff, because as I do whenever there is a magnetic storms. So therefore, I think this information might be useful, and if any members of our community are experiencing some issues with the pressure, they should make sure that they are constantly checking pressure. So super powerful X7.1 level flare was recorded on the sun on Wednesday night. The laboratory of solar astronomy of the Institute of Space Research of the Russian Academy of the Science and the Institute of Solar Terrestrial Physics reported an exceptionally large solar explosion was registered tonight at 1:20 Moscow time. The X7.1 level flare occurred almost exactly in the center of the solar disk in the area of maximum impact on the Earth, the laboratory said in a statement posted on its website. A more powerful X87 level explosion has only been recorded once in the last 7 years, in May 2024, their site notices. So, yes, Sun right now is in active phase, and therefore, quite regularly, there are some these explosions or coronal mass ejections, or whatever the name is for that event. And Earth is almost every other day is experiencing this magnetic storms. Couple of weeks ago, dear friends, I've been told that there was northern lights could be seen over Moscow just a couple of weeks ago. And whenever you see northern lights, there was a huge explosion on the sun, because these northern lights are basically events when these high energy particles, as a result of explosions on the sun, are hitting Russian Earth's magnetic field, isn't it? And they are directed towards the poles, right? A significant number of them. And if this volley of these charged particles are big enough, then you may observe northern lights, not just in the northern latitudes, but also in many, towards the central ones, because Moscow, I would not say Moscow is on the northern latitudes. No, Saint Petersburg, yes, maybe Murmansk for sure, but not Moscow. Anyways, dear friends, so this is it for now. A relatively short update with that. Hopefully, you this short video informative, interesting, and useful. And if so, please click that like button, leave some commentary just about anything, and if you can, please share information about my channels with your friends or on any of the platforms that you're actively using on internet or in real life. And if you like my work, if you like my channels, and if you think we deserve to exist in this field of news and political commentary, please consider to support with donations through PayPal or Boosty or by subscribing to my Patreon page. All the links are under this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. And before I go, dear friends, let me thank you all for your attention and support, and share with you information that thanks to your community, I was able to update my notebook, and this is the first news update on the new notebook. Yesterday, I spent all day adjusting notebook so that video will be more or less okay quality, sound, and hopefully I did a okay job on that. But if not, then obviously in upcoming days, I will try to adjust video. I will adjust sound a bit more. I will work on that. But this is the first video, dear friends, on the new notebook. Uh, all the one already had its best times. It worked perfectly well. But lately, whenever I was recording update, I was thinking, I mean, notebook may just you know turn off at any point. So I had to do this upgrade, and I was able to do so thanks to your support. So truly grateful. And I wanted to share with you, dear friends, this little news from this about this project itself. So okay, this is it. This is it for now. Have a great day, and dear friends, I will try. Unfortunately, yesterday, day before, I wasn't able to make headlines or second updates, but I will try to make it today. As you know, I get flu. I don't, you know, I had some issues with the health, and therefore, I did not had the opportunity to work as much as I wanted. But maybe I'll manage to do it today. This is it for now. This is it for now. Have a great day and take care.